and in solving wisely some of the most difficult disputes that the Kenyan public life has ever produced. May you be granted the wisdom to continue to serve, and may justice remain our shield and defender. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. Your Excellency, it is now my honor to invite the Honorable Attorney General to make his remarks. Karibu. Thank you, sir.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, the Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, the Honorable Gachagua, the Honorable the Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Lady Justice Martha Koome, Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula, the Honorable the Deputy Chief Justice, Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu, the Governor of Nairobi City, the Honorable Johnson Sakaja, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say that it's an honor for me to join you today for the launch of the State of the Judiciary and the Administration of Justice report for the 2021-2022 financial year. And from the outset, I would like to thank the Honorable the Chief Justice and our team for a job well done in developing the report that is being launched today. Your Excellency, this report provides all actors in the justice sector and indeed all citizens the opportunity to evaluate the performance of the judiciary for the financial year under review. We will be able to take stock of the strides that have been made and the challenges that have been encountered in the realization of the judiciary's key mandate of ensuring access to justice. Such an open and transparent evaluation of the state of the judiciary and the administration of justice is critical in informing strategies and decisions for improved performance going into the future. Your Excellency, there is no doubt that much effort has been made towards building an independent and functioning judiciary in line with the requirements of our Constitution. One of the key highlights of these efforts in the financial year under review, Your Excellency, was as has been stated by the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, the operationalization of the Judiciary Fund, which has remained a thorn in the flesh for a long time. And as you recall, Your Excellency, in the past, every time we appeared here, there has always been that request for its operationalization. Your Excellency's commitment for additional 3 billion shillings annually to the judiciary in the next 5 years is also a milestone within the period that is being reviewed. While more work remains to be done, these decisions will serve to guarantee the financial independence of the judiciary, which is a foundational element of the overall judicial independence. The decisions will also support the agenda of transforming the judiciary, including through the enhancement of the judiciary's infrastructural and human resource capacities. Judicial independence, like the independence of other arms of government, is a tool for serving and protecting the public interest. Therefore, regardless of the arms of governments in which we serve, we are collectively bound by the duty to serve the public. This collective duty makes us interdependent and requires of us collegiality, constructive checks and balances, and support for each other. Your Excellency, as a member of the Judicial Service Commission and principal legal advisor to the government, I have committed to serve as a link between the executive and the judiciary and to assist in ensuring that the two arms of government enjoy the cordial relations as they discharge their respective constitutional mandates without interference of each other's functions. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm most grateful for your kind attention, and God bless you all, and God bless Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Attorney General. Allow me, sir, now to invite the Deputy Chief Justice to make her remarks and invite the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly.
Your Excellency, the President of this Republic and the Commander-in-Chief of our Defense Forces, Your Excellency, our Deputy President, the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, all members of the Cabinet that are present with us today, the Governor of Nairobi, my colleagues at the judiciary, at all levels of court, the directorates and staff, justice seekers here present, the staff of the judiciary. Good morning. Now, today happens to be, at least in my judgment, the second most important day in the judiciary. Second, after the days that we hear and determine cases and avail justice to justice seekers in the Republic of Kenya, and some from outside the Republic, because we are approached from all corners. Second, because it is the day that we come to obey the Constitution, to obey the statute that is the Judicial Service Act, where in Section 5 of that Act, we are called upon to give an account of what we have done in a whole year, gazette that account, and give it to the Speaker of the National Assembly to debate and strengthen that report. Now, the report is not just a report. It is an account of our accountability to the people of Kenya, whom we serve. We are independent, but that independence means nothing if it is not accompanied with and by accountability. And so today, we come here to tell Kenyans that for the last 1 year that you have allowed us to serve you, this is what we did for Kenya. This is where we need improvement, and this is where we need your support. Secondly, the judiciary cannot succeed alone. The judiciary is as good as the people it serves, and it is as good as its partners. Now, the Constitution requires that the three arms of government, though furiously independent, are of necessity constructively interdependent. And that's where we connect with each other, where we are able to do one thing as the Constitution mandates that we do. The other arms of government come in as the Constitution requires them to do to support the discharge of the main item that we discharge from this end of the three arms of government, which is accessing justice to the people who pay our salaries. And it is such a primary concern that if it does not receive the support that it must receive from the other arms of government, we just cannot succeed. And so, on this, our second important day, we from the judiciary refuse to talk and talk through the report. Now, that report is delivered by the Honorable the Chief Justice, as I will later talk about. But for now, allow me to take this privileged position to invite our other partner, the head of the legislature, the Honorable the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula, to come and speak to this congregation.
Thank you, DCJ. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, Deputy President, my Lady, the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, judges of the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal and the other courts, the Governor of Nairobi, Cabinet ministers here present, and distinguished members in the congregation. Coming to, my friend, the Attorney General, my classmate. Coming to the judiciary for many of us is like a homecoming because this is where we started our early life. I was appointed a magistrate in 1983, and we served in various parts of this country. I didn't last long in the judiciary, and I left to go to practice. I'm saying this, Your Excellency, because as late as the early 80s, access to justice in this country was a very difficult issue. I remember in late 1983, I was hired by a sitting MP then to go to Mandera to represent his constituent. Going to Mandera took me 2 days by road, and I appeared in a court presided over by a DC who had no knowledge of any law. And as I was cross-examining a witness, he cut me short and said, "Wakili, maliza haraka tufunge huyu mtu twende." That is how far Kenyans have come to now access modern processes of getting justice. So we come here today, Lady Chief Justice and the judiciary as a whole, to celebrate your week and to receive your report and place it before the House of Parliament, where it will be debated, and the other arm of government that I lead will pass some judgment on your report, on your performance, and that is how interdependent we must be. Today, as we celebrate this great day, I want to encourage the judiciary to remain studiously independent. For the last couple of years, bills and acts of parliament passed at Parliament have found their fate not too welcoming in the judiciary. You struck out many of them as being unconstitutional. And that is as it should be, because each arm of government must supplicate itself to the other. And whenever you make such decisions, it makes the legislature even more careful in ensuring that the laws they pass must be consistent with the Constitution and with the aspirations of the people of Kenya. So, Your Excellency, as we come here, I want to salute you for being consistent in declaring your desire and your government to support the judiciary unconditionally so that they can be able to dispense justice to the ordinary people. Just one thing I want to finish with, Lady Chief Justice, and I think I've said this to you a few times before. In the old days when we were young practitioners, courts were studiously time conscious. 9 o'clock, if a lawyer or his client were not in court, the judges, the magistrates were seated there, and they would take a very dim view of a lawyer who comes late or a litigant who comes late. I want to encourage the judiciary that we keep to that tradition so that members of the public who seek justice don't come and stand in the corridors of the courts for too long. I can see now you are digital. Even though the digital platform, if we observe time, will save a lot of other issues for Kenyans. Allow me to finish by once again saluting our judiciary for coming of age, and for making milestone decisions in many, many disputes between citizens and the state, not to mention politicians versus politicians. And now we have come to a level where even those who don't agree with what you say are respecting what you say. And that is the Kenya we want, and that's the Kenya we must have. Thank you, and may God help the judiciary continue being the true defender of the interests of the weak and the mighty at the same level, because that's where society must be. Thank you.
Asante sana, Bwana Speaker, sir. You just happen to be in the judiciary, so this is our day. Your Excellencies, we are gathered today in this place to give an account of what we have done as required by statute. And the statute says that the person who will give that account on our behalf is the Honorable the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, and it now falls on me to invite the Honorable the Chief Justice of the Republic, the Honorable Martha Karambo Kome, the President of my court, to come here and give the report. The Chief Justice.
Thank you very much, my sister, the Honorable Justice Philomena Mwiru. Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, our Speaker, Honorable Moses Wetangula, the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court of Kenya. Allow me also to adopt the protocol that has been established and recognize all the very distinguished guests that we have this morning, particularly recognizing our cabinet secretaries, and I think our prime chief cabinet secretary is coming to the judiciary for the first time. I've never seen him before. You're most welcome. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, judges, our development partners, constitutional commissioners, our partners at the National Council on the Administration of Justice, all the people we work with, the judiciary staff, everybody who has put their hand to make this report a reality and to come and support us today. We recognize you and really say a very, very good morning to all of you. I start by appreciating and thanking the President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, for honoring the judiciary with your presence in this event. I also thank the Deputy President and the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Cabinet Secretaries, the Principal Secretaries, members of the National Assembly and the Senate, the Judicial Service Commission, chairpersons and commissioners of the various independent constitutional commissions present in this event. In addition, I'm gratified by the presence of the ends of various agencies in the justice sector and representatives of our development partners. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, the launch of the Sonja Report 2021-2022 in the presence of the leaders of all arms of government speaks to the shared responsibility towards the realization of the constitutional right of access to justice as enshrined in Article 48 of our Constitution. This calls for all of us to embrace collaborative institutional engagement because indeed we serve one citizen, the one we have named Wanjiku. We are all most grateful, Your Excellency, for the remarkable commitment to the constitutional goal of access to justice that you have demonstrated since you assumed office as the President of the Republic. Your triple commitment to address financial constraints that has hampered the optimal service delivery by the judiciary through increased budgetary allocation, also addressing judiciary's human resource constraints through appointment of more judges, and curing the judiciary's acute infrastructure deficit through support of the judiciary's digitization agenda, and also your commitment to support us establish 100 small claims courts, and also courts in all the constituencies and high courts in all the counties as part of your legacy agenda are truly clear of irrefutable evidence that you intend to partner with the judiciary to realize the objective of establishing an efficient and accessible justice system, and for that we are most grateful. Your hand of support and collaboration to the judiciary could not have come at a more appropriate time. This is given that the report we are launching today, like the previous ones, show that the judiciary is not operating optimally due to significant budgetary, infrastructural, and human resource constraints. We therefore look forward to working with Your Excellency as guided by the spirit of cooperative dialogue and responsibility sharing as envisaged in the Constitution to ensure access to justice for all. The fact that Your Excellency has embraced deepening access to justice as part of your government's bottom-up agenda makes this decisive moment in the history of the Kenyan justice sector. It is a moment that historians will, in future, look back to and identify as a transformative moment when all state organs jointly embarked on the journey of establishing an efficient justice system, which is a key ingredient and enabler for the realization of our national aspiration of social and economic development. In the judiciary, we are currently pursuing a strategic vision that we call social transformation through access to justice. This vision is a continuation of the pioneering judiciary transformation framework instituted by our Chief Justice Emeritus William Mutunga, and sustaining judiciary transformation, which was heralded by my predecessor, the Honorable Chief Justice David Maraga. The thrust of STAJ, as we nickname it, is putting in place a people-centered justice system. We aim to remove all barriers that have hindered access to justice for the excluded, or those you have identified in your policy as being in the bottom of the pyramid. We believe that this perfectly dovetails with the government's agenda. Your Excellency, the reality is that removing barriers to access to justice is a challenge that the judiciary cannot surmount on its own. Therefore, all arms of government should join hands and work together to master this formidable challenge. My call and plea today is that it is time for us to come together to build our judiciary to be a strong and independent institution, an institution where judicial services are truly public goods that are accessible to all citizens, including the vulnerable, who are the most in need of judicial services, but have historically been excluded from accessing justice. Over the last 1 year, Your Excellency, the judiciary has been hard-pressed to work in pursuit of the strategic outcomes identified in the STAJ. The report shows that we have made great strides in ensuring that our justice system is accessible, it is efficient, it is also expeditious and cost-effective as mandated in the Constitution. At the same time, it also offers the nation a glimpse of the vital and urgent areas in which our corrective intervention is still required. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, during the financial year that we are reporting, 404,000 cases were filed in the judiciary, out of which 257,000 were criminal cases, and 147,000 cases were civil cases. And just to get a glimpse of where these cases came from, 42% of them actually came from 5 counties: Nairobi, Nakuru, Mombasa, Kiambu, and Machakos. These courts recorded a case clearance rate of 94%, where 380 cases were resolved. And that, I think, deserves a clap. A clearance rate of 94% is really good. At the end of the financial year, we had 878,000 cases pending before our courts. And this comprises of 294,000 criminal cases and 384 civil cases. This is an increase by 5% from the previous year. 76% of these pending cases are before the magistrates' courts. Of the pending cases, at the end of the period, 50% of them have been in the court system for over 1 year. This is a 10% decline from the previous year. In pursuit of our vision of ensuring that our justice system is efficient and cost-effective, we pursued a number of game-changing interventions and initiatives aimed at enhancing access to justice and service delivery in the course of the financial year that we are reporting. As a way of expanding the doorways of justice, 11 new ELC courts and 6 new High Court stations were established across the country. I think you need to applaud that. In addition, 2 Supreme Court sub-registries were opened, 5 Court of Appeal sub-registries, and 3 High Court sub-registries were established during this year. These initiatives expanded the footprint of these courts across the country, thereby ensuring easy geographical reach to judicial services by our litigants. Another transformative intervention, Your Excellency, during the year was the establishment of 11 small claims courts and appointment of 25 adjudicators to man these courts. The Small Claims Court is a revolutionary court that has enabled the resolution of claims below 1 million shillings to be resolved within 60 days in a process marked by informal and less cumbersome court process. Because of these features, the court has made significant contribution to the economy and contributed toward ease of doing business during the short period it has been in operation. During the year we are reporting, Your Excellency, the Small Claims Court resolved 9,315 cases, thereby releasing Kenya shillings 1.431 billion shillings in the economy. Having witnessed the revolutionary potential of the small claims court over the last 1 year, we project that if we have in place 100 small claims courts operationalized in the country, this will mark a turning point for the efficiency of the justice sector. In fact, if we get adequate support, we think of having a night shift operation, what the governor was talking about, with some adjudicators sitting from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. in Nairobi and Mombasa cities, which would be a first for any public sector institution in Kenya and regionally. This will certainly place our country on the path to claiming the top spot in the continent in terms of efficiency in commercial disputes, resolution, hence enhancing the country's attractiveness as a business and investment destination. To expedite the resolution of sexual and gender-based cases, we operationalized a sexual and gender-based violence court at Chanzu. This is part of our tailor-made intervention targeting access to justice for the vulnerable groups in our society, especially the children who are victims of violence. We hope to scale up the rollout of the SGBB courts throughout the country, and we are very, very happy, Your Excellency the Governor, to partner with you within Nairobi to operationalize these SGBB courts, especially where we are trying to build the small claims courts. In addition, we decentralized the political parties dispute tribunal across 7 regions during the period. This tribunal, Your Excellency, received and concluded 198 matters within 1 month of filing. I think we need to appreciate that tribunal. The decentralization of the PPDT had a significant impact on accessibility and expeditious disposal of pre-election disputes adjudication regime during the 2022 electoral cycle. It enabled us to do away with the specter of litigants traveling to Nairobi across the country as it was witnessed during the 2013 and 2017 electoral cycles, where all pre-election disputes were heard and centrally determined in Nairobi. In pursuit of our multi-door approach to access to justice, Your Excellency, the last financial year saw the strengthening and expansion of the alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Our court annex mediation program was expanded to an additional 8 court stations during the year. This means the court annex mediation is now operational in 94 court stations. If you are Christians, you would say amen. This period also saw the referral of 2,245 matters sent to mediation by various courts, and the resolution of 1,918 of the referred matters were resolved. The judiciary in the reporting period launched 3 alternative justice system suites and models that we launched in Kajiado, Isiolo, and Nakuru. Additionally, 10 AJS mechanisms panels were launched in Kajiado County. It is noteworthy that the Kajiado model currently focuses on land-related matters, out of which already we have dealt with 61 and resolved them successfully. These are cases that had been pending resolution with the National Land Commission for a long time. The judiciary also mounted mobile courts in far-flung areas in our continued quest to bridge the geographical distance between litigants and courts. We note, Your Excellency, the average distance traveled by courts to mobile courts location was 90 kilometers, with the farthest being 270 kilometers. We therefore operationalized 5 new mobile courts in the course of the last year. This brings the total number of mobile courts across the country to 57. The total number of cases concluded by the mobile courts during the period we are reporting are 5,220. Your Excellency, you are excited to see our virtual court. Let me speak to what we have done on leveraging on technology. The use of information and communication technology, which we have used to deepen the efficiency of our operations and the delivery of judicial service. We found technological innovations such as virtual courts, hearings to be not only cost-effective to litigants, but also an enabler to efficiency in the service delivery. We concluded the installation of in-court recording solutions in 5 courtrooms in Milimani, another one in Engineer Law Courts. We have also deployed 15 units of video conferencing solution system aimed at facilitating remote trials and cases involving parties or witnesses who are abroad. In addition, the judiciary, in partnership with the Ministry of ICT and Google Africa, connected 163 court stations to the national optic fiber backbone infrastructure, the one we call NOFBI. A further 12 remote court stations will be connected through mobile broadband. We remain acutely cognizant of the unequal access to technologies, limited internet access across the country, and lack of knowledge or ability to use technologies deployed. We are therefore developing strategies and innovations to mitigate the potential of digital exclusion. This includes the initiative to provide e-judiciary services through Huduma centers for members of the public who cannot access internet. Instead of them going to cyber cafes, they can go to the Huduma center and find a judiciary desk where they can do their filing or conduct their hearings. On human resource capital, Your Excellency, it is a truism that performance of the judiciary's mandate is pegged foremost on having adequate and motivated personnel to deliver judicial and support services. In this regard, in collaboration with the Judicial Service Commission, the judiciary employed various modalities to build capacity of our human resource capital. For optimal function, the required judiciary establishment, Your Excellency, is 9,417 members of staff. For us to be operational, to operate optimally, we need 348 judges. We need 1,200 judicial officers. Those are the magistrates and the caddies. We need 650 law clerks and legal researchers to support the work of the judges and the judicial officers, and 7,219 judicial staff. At the end of the reporting period, the employee complement was at 66%, that is 6,182, an increase by 10% from the previous year. Judges were at 49%, magistrates and caddies also at 49%, law clerks and legal researchers at 27%, and judicial staff at 66%. We need the continued support of the executive and the parliament to address the human resource constraints that are prevailing in the judiciary. The judiciary also made a conscious effort to create a workplace that is inclusive and reflective of the community in which we operate as demanded by the Constitution. Overall gender representation in the judiciary, Your Excellency, female to male, is at the ratio of 49 to 51, signifying compliance with the key constitutional imperatives. I expect you to clap for that, because judiciary is providing leadership. Those who are struggling to understand how to bring gender equality in their places of work, they can come for benchmarking in the judiciary. Significantly, Your Excellency, the judiciary believes in the vitality and promise of the youth. 71% of the judiciary employees are between the ages of 26 to 45 years. I and the Deputy Chief Justice are the oldest. We still have a long way to go, including getting judges of the High Court, the Environment and Land Court, Employment and Labor Relations Court in all the counties. We require magistrates sitting in all the sub-counties and adjudicators for our small claims courts across the whole country. Addressing the human resource constraints in this regard is one of the areas where we are seeking the continued support of the Executive and Parliament. I will also speak briefly on the financial performance. During the reporting period, one of the key achievements was the operationalization of the Judiciary Fund at the end of the judiciary financial year. This followed from a successful consultative process between the judiciary, the National Treasury, the Central Bank, and the Controller of Budget. The Judiciary Fund account and its operational accounts were opened and activated on July 1, 2022. The Judiciary Fund Committee has been established to oversee budget implementation and to regularly advise the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary on the performance of the fund. The judiciary allocation for the year 2021-2022 was 18.1 billion, out of which 15.9 billion was for recurrent expenses, and Kenya shillings 2.154 billion was for the development budget. This represents about, Your Excellency, 0.6% of the total national budget, and just a small fraction of these resources of what is actually allocated to Parliament and the Executive. We never like to compare ourselves with other people, but when it comes to budget allocation, we are just short of shy of saying that consider the judiciary the same way you consider Parliament. It is also well below the international best practice of 3% allocation of the national budget to judiciaries. Your Excellency's decisive measures to correct and improve this historical underfunding will bring reprieve to millions of Kenyans seeking justice across the country. Many times I've asked myself why we have had to build prefabricated structures on our rooftop on a building that is a national museum. Then I was told there was no money to do better than to just build those prefabs. I wondered why we built a toilet out there. We could have just built a building, but I was told the money that was there could only afford to build the prefabs and build an ablution outside. So we all have to keep walking outside or sometimes even to the hotel because the facilities are not sufficient. On accountability mechanisms, it is important to report to Kenyans that we have rolled out robust accountability performance measurement and complaints handling mechanism in line with the constitutional mandate given to the judiciary, whereby we are supposed to be independent but at the same time accountable. It is notable that in November 2021, we invited the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to undertake a comprehensive judiciary systems audit. This systemic review of the policies, our procedures and practices of the judiciary will definitely identify the avenues and opportunities for unethical and corrupt practices so that the judiciary can work towards eliminating them. Regarding the worrying state of physical infrastructure, the judiciary has formulated a physical infrastructural Marshall Plan that targets to meet the contemporary justice demands by Kenyans. This, Your Excellency, includes a High Court building, in counties without such courts, magistrate courts in constituencies without the courts, and 100 small claims courts. We also urgently need to put up a modern Supreme Court building to house the Supreme Court and the administrative headquarters of the judiciary. Your Excellency, we also need a Court of Appeal building to manage the expanded needs of the courts and the Kenya Judiciary Academy. We thank Your Excellency for signaling that addressing these infrastructure concerns constitutes an integral part of your legacy. We will work with you to realize this dream that will revolutionize the delivery of justice in our country. In conclusion, allow me to thank you, Your Excellency, and all our distinguished guests who have graced this occasion once more, for honoring us with your presence and for listening to us. I also thank the team that worked so diligently to prepare the Sonja Report 2021-2022, which was read by my very own indefatigable, energized Chief of Staff, Madam Rose Washuka. I now welcome Your Excellency and distinguished guests to watch a very short video highlighting the contents of the report, followed by a visual launch. I thank all of you and I embrace all of you and pray that God will continue to guide us and guide our country to prosperity. Thank you.
The video, please. May we have the video continue playing? Karibu.
Met by the stakeholders in the justice sector in the 2021-2022 financial year. The report, now in its 11th year of publication, fosters accountability and engagement with the public in line with constitutional imperatives of judicial authority and access to justice. In the year under review, a key highlight was the establishment of the Judiciary Fund, which is enabling the judiciary to fully implement its financial work plans. The social transformation through access to justice vision being pursued by the judiciary is expanding the doorways of justice through the small claims court, which have facilitated resolution of 9,315 cases worth 1.4 billion Kenya shillings during the period under